Another morning, another truck vlog. Seems to be the only place we vlog. It's just gonna be truck B-roll for 10 or 11 weeks of videos. It's day 8.
Day 8.
And we are still in Kings Canyon. We are headed to go finally see some Sequoia trees before we head to our next campsite in Sequoia National Park. As soon as this park ranger passes. Or not a park ranger. Oh, yes, a park ranger. Well, he has a patch on his shoulder. He's a park ranger.
He's a national park gardener.
He's a national park gardener. Ranger gardener? There's probably someone named Ranger Gardener.
He didn't have the hat. I think
They don't always wear the hat.
They don't always wear the hat, but you have to have it.
You saw every single inch of the inside of his truck?
No.
Hopefully he has a hat if he's a gardener. So we are headed over to the General Grant tree in Grant's Grove. I think we're actually going to the Grove of Trees this time, not just the Grove Village. Yeah, we're gonna look at the trees a little bit, head back to the RV, finish packing up, and head to our campsite just south of Sequoia National Park in Three Rivers, which I keep wanting to call Tres Pinos, because that's 3 pines. But no, we're going to Three Rivers after this. But first, redwood trees, or Sequoia redwood trees. Welcome to the General Grant Grove of giant sequoias. Because of the majesty and size of the sequoias, mankind has long had a close relationship with these wonderful trees. We have felled the trees, revered the trees, and even lived in their hollow trunks. The General Grant Tree Trail forms a self-guiding loop 1/3 of a mile long. Numbered posts along the trail are key to this guide. Walk the trail to learn the story of these giant sequoias and how people have related to them in the past.
A smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wander? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in.
The General Grant tree was discovered in 1862 by Joseph Hardin Thomas and named in 1867 by Lucretia Baker. It was proclaimed the nation's Christmas tree by President Calvin Coolidge at the suggestion of Charles Lee from Sanger, California. In 1956, President Eisenhower designated the Grant tree as a living national shrine in memory of Americans who have died in war.
So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in.
Well, this is the Gamblin Cabin. This is the Gamblin Cabin, and it's cool, like what they did by hand in the 1800s. Like, it's hand hewn, which means they cut down the trees, and then they cut the boards or the logs, everything that they needed by hand, which is really impressive. It's a little bit depressing because there's people's graffiti and carvings and marks all over.
All over it.
It's disgusting, really. We were just talking before I started vlogging. Here, one second, I'll show you. We were just talking before I started vlogging that when people, like, this is against the law. This is vandalism and you're not allowed to do it. But when people just carve in their name, like Susie and George, like, who knows who Susie and George are? You can't prosecute them. But people have started doing this new thing where they just put their social media handles. It's easy to figure out who that guy is. And if the Park Service wanted to, they probably could figure out who he was and prosecute him. Because don't do it. Like, let's just be honest. Nobody's that important. You ain't that important to put your name on this stuff. Like, when you hand-hewn your own cabin in the woods with just, like, a saw and a giant tree, then you can carve your name into it.
Yeah.
When you left, I was so completely gone, but now I'm sure you were some of the best of things to find. Would you follow me to wonders if you're everything that matters to me? Makes me wonder why I can't get over.
I think that I figured out why I do this type of vlogging, like talking to the camera in the truck.
Because you're bored in the truck?
No, I think it is because we aren't getting weird stares.
Ah.
And so if we're doing B-roll or just like talking and I also have the camera out, it's a little bit less weird, I think. For me, I think that's why. It's a good format though, I think. With all of that said, we are back in the truck. We drove a couple hours from the Sunset Campground up at the northern end of Sequoia National Park. We left Sequoia National Park. We took a super windy road for about 30 miles. It took us about 2 hours, right?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. All the way down to where we are staying now at Three Rivers. We just dropped the trailer and the dogs off at the campground in Three Rivers, and we are headed just a little ways up the road to the Foothills Visitor Center of Sequoia National Park, where we're just going to kind of get our bearings and learn a little bit about the southern end of the park and see what there is to see there. That way tomorrow we're ready to take a super windy road back into the park to go to a couple of important landmarks here on the southern end of Sequoia National Park.
So, Three Rivers, what did the sign say? Gateway to the Sierras or Gateway to Sequoias?
I think it was Gateway to the Sequoias.
Yeah. So they build our town that way. It's down in the foothills. I thought we were going to be as high as 3,000 feet. I don't think that we're even that high. I think we're lower down than that. The Foothills Visitor Center is in Three Rivers, so you can guess that we're in the foothills.
Yeah. So we are back down into the warm weather. We're just going to go check out, National Park Information, dial 1610 AM, in case you want to do that. We're just going to go see what the Foothills Visitor Center is like 15 minutes from the RV.
Mm-hmm.
Three Rivers basically seems to be a town that's sole existence is to be a place where you can stay when you're visiting Sequoia National Park. As we drove through it, all I saw were lodges, hotels, motels, campgrounds,
And restaurants.
gas, and a lake. So you can go to the lake or the river. Supposedly there's 3 of them. We only saw one river right by our campground though. So yeah, that's basically all Three Rivers is a place to kind of get your bearings and stay when you are visiting Sequoia National Park.
I find it hard to not give in.
Being a goof. You're being a goof. Are you having a good time on this trip, buddy? I know you haven't gotten to do a ton of things because most of it's been national park stuff that doesn't let doggos. But you've been really good. Have you been enjoying hanging out with Papa and Mama and just cuddling? Yeah? We're really happy with how you've been behaving on this trip. Yeah. You haven't gotten to be in the vlog much either, huh? Yeah. You don't really care about that, though. You don't care about that. You're cute. You've gotten to be in the vlog much, though.
Yeah, I've been on a time or two. Especially you keep vlogging when we're driving.
Yeah, and I get you in frame most of the time.
I'm usually driving.
Yeah.
You haven't driven in over a week, have you?
I drove... Today's Friday.
You drove last Friday.
Last Wednesday. Because I didn't go anywhere Thursday. And then Friday you drove when we left. Yeah, so I drove a week and a couple days ago. There's a bug. I thought about asking earlier if you needed me to drive. Maybe it was yesterday on that long drive, even though I didn't really want to drive, but in case you were tired. But I didn't ask you if you wanted me. We weren't towing, though. So, last time we vlogged, were we at the visitor center? We were going to the visitor center.
We're going to the visitor center.
So we went to the visitor center. It was good. It was kind of small, but not too small.
They had an exhibit, no movie.
Yeah, a little bit, no movie. So we were there for a little bit. We just kind of looked at it. We asked them about the drive to Crystal Spring?
Cave.
Crystal Cave.
And also just that whole area. So, yeah, I think we have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do tomorrow.
And then after that we came back here and relaxed. And then we went and got some dinner. We didn't vlog any of it because I feel like we vlogged a lot this morning. I don't know how long that bit of the vlog is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we did a lot of vlogging when we were at the General Grant Grove and Tree.
That was kind of the most exciting thing of the day anyway. I mean,
yeah, the rest of it was
the
just
Foothills
driving.
Visitor Center was nice, but, I mean, you're from Sacramento, and you've spent a lot of time in your life in the foothills, so even though it's the far other end of the foothills, there wasn't anything there that was...
Nothing new for me.
Yeah, nothing too new. I mean...
It was a nice view outside of it, of the mountains and stuff.
If you're not from the area, it would be much more interesting to talk about the drought and how it affects the life cycles, and there's lots of stuff in there.
And they talk a lot about the Mediterranean climate and how it's really rare on Earth.
Yes.
But it's not rare for me because I grew up in one of the 4 major Mediterranean
I think
climates.
the biggest. Yeah, I think
I think it might be the biggest outside of the Mediterranean.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was fun. So we did that, we went to dinner, we came back, and here we are, ending the vlog. I think we're going to just relax for a little bit. We haven't played any board games this trip. Maybe we'll play a board game.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point the dogs are going to want to go outside for a little bit. But right now someone's outside smoking. And so I'd like to wait until that kind of dissipates.
We should probably podcast today, too.
Oh yeah, we got a podcast this evening.
Y'all should go and check that out.
Yep. We are Then We Cross America, the podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts. That's going to be the rest of our evening. I think that's it. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Scouty, say see you in the next episode. Bye.